Is this a static bar or a pull-up bar? Why not both? So today we'll be checking out the freestanding pull-up bar by RaMaSS Fitness. And RaMaSS Fitness is a UK-based company, and we already checked out their parallettes and also a weight vest. So we are very curious about this one. So looking at it, the first thing that comes to mind is that, of course, it can also go very low. So it's almost like a static bar, which is very nice that it has this option. I really like the look of this one, the black powder coated steel, I'm always a fan of. And then RaMaSS Fitness has a logo over here. And on the bottom you also have two bars, but those are not high enough to be doing push-ups on them because you will be hitting your fingers. So the bar is actually 115 centimeters long, which is quite long. And the thickness of it is like 32 millimeters. And on the floor it takes up 115 centimeters by 126 centimeters. So you can change up the height from 135 centimeters up to 215 centimeters in increments of 10 centimeters. So if you want to put the bar up, then first you have to take out the safety pin. And then on here it says which side you should be turning it to loosen it up. And as soon as it's loose, then you pull this and then this is loose. So when you want to adjust the height, this design has kind of been designed to do it step by step. So then you would undo one, you hold it up, and then you take the next one and then you go like this. This kind of works, but if you want to put it all the way up, this is going to be difficult. But we have two techniques which you can then use. So first, if you want to put it at, for instance, this height, then you could also just put your shoulders under, undo both of them and put them as high as possible. And this height is actually very nice for doing muscle ups inside, so that's great. And then the last technique is if you completely unscrew one side, then this one is loose, and then you can just take this one and put it all the way up. And then you put this screw on this side. So don't forget to put in the safety pin and also tighten this one up. So now let's test it out. So it really looks like it has too much wiggle room in here. Forward, there's a lot of movement. Grip feels nice of the bar. But this should definitely be more stable. We've seen more stable bars, and I think the system is very nice. And of course, the fact that you can put it lower is also definitely a plus. Let's see if we can do a muscle up with this bouncy stuff. So look, I'm not even moving that much and it's wobbling. So it is nice and wide. With those exercises with pull-ups, then you do feel the wobble, but it's not too bad. Let's try out a back lever and a skin the cat. So with those movements, it's kind of fine, but for exercises that you do above the bar, like the muscle up or the pullover or straight bar dips, we think it's too unstable. So let's try out to put it lower and check if that is better. So it's very nice that you can now do exercises above the bar and it's definitely stable enough. One thing that you need to consider though is that you need to bend your knees or your hips when you're doing the muscle up so that you don't hit the feet on the floor. But for the rest, it's definitely stable enough. So let's check out if these exercises even become nicer when we put it lower. Like this is definitely much more stable, so this is really nice. Of course, with the muscle up, you do really need to like do an L sit or L hang. Of course, now it's basically like a static bar, so let's test it out with some statics. I can't really planche, but of course you could planche on this. It's also nice and wide, so for wide planche or Maltese, or even for straight arm touch, front lever, it might be wide enough, so that's very nice. And what is very good about this one is that it doesn't really wobble that much to the side, and with a lot of static bars, we see this problem. If you look at it as a static bar, then this one is quite on the thin side with the 32 millimeters, because with a static bar, you usually want a thicker grip for doing your false grip, for instance. So of course, it's also nice to combine this bar with some tools like your gymnastics rings, and RaMaSS Fitness actually sells their own rings, but for now we don't have those yet, so we'll use these. So with these, of course, you can do your muscle ups and you can do your dips as well, so that's very nice. But what I noticed when I was doing my back lever, I was definitely moving quite a lot, which is usual with gymnastics rings. But with this one, because the bar is on its highest, here is wiggle room, and then it's definitely moving forward and backwards, and you can even hear it. And of course, with rings, you are looking for instability, so it's not a big problem, but it's a bit more than usual. So of course, you can also use some rubber bands to make your exercise easier. So you can stretch your legs. You do kind of hit the bar on the bottom, but it's nice and high, so that's good for those assisted exercises. And of course, you can also do some warm-ups with it, and I hope it doesn't fall over. It doesn't. So the load capacity of this bar is 150 kilos. So I weigh about 72, so there's definitely enough room for some weighted calisthenics. So with weighted pull-ups and chin-ups, it is also stable enough. So this pull-up bar cost 226 euros and it was fairly easy to set up. It has a very nice grip, and if you use the technique that we mentioned, then it's also easy to put it on different heights. One thing though, if you put it on the highest setting, there is a lot of wiggle room over here, which makes it very unstable. But when you do exercises below the bar, it is quite okay, but we wouldn't do any exercises above the bar. The lower you put it, the more stable it becomes though, and halfway it is already more than enough. And then it actually becomes super nice for doing your indoor muscle ups and also pullovers and dips. And if you put it all the way down, it actually becomes a super nice static bar. With static bars, often you have a lot of wobble to the side, but this one is super stable. It is quite thin for a static bar though. Usually you want a thicker grip because you want to do false grip, for instance, but this one is so wide that you can do wide front lever stuff and even Maltese. So considering all that, we recommend this bar. So click the links in the description or here, and don't forget to use the CWW10 discount code for 10% off. And if you want us to review any other products, let us know in the comments, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good day.